Hi, you guys. What am I even saying? Hello, everyone. It's Lydia. Welcome back to another episode of Children of Divorce. This morning, I was scrolling through Spotify and looking at all the other podcasts and all the other people out there. And I was also last night scrolling on Instagram and all these things. And I just was absorbing so much and seeing so much different content by people, but also just seeing so many different people and the ways that they live their lives and how they're doing and their happiness scale and their achievements and the fact that maybe they exist means there's less room in this world for me. And so I thought, what an appropriate topic today to talk about comparison and feeling small. Because that's definitely how I felt. I think it's hard to see other people that have the success you aspire for, or other people existing just in a similar field as you. Or meeting people that seem similar to you or look similar to you or are more beautiful than you, more successful, because there's that feeling of, oh, maybe there's not enough room in this world for me. For example, when I look through the podcasts, and there are all these different podcasts and so many self-help ones and just so many people, it can be like disheartening at times, like, oh, is there room for me? Is there like any need for me at all? Like, do I actually need to be here? And you can feel a little purposeless. It's the same when I will see other beautiful girls, and especially on Instagram, there's a lot of beautiful women out there. And it's really hard sometimes because if I see someone that I think is prettier than me, which I used to a lot, and now I think I'm able to really appreciate my own beauty. But it's always hard because you're like, well, maybe there's not enough room for me in this world. When in reality, that's not how the world works. The thing is, if you have like an expansive mindset, like you know that the world is an expansive place, meaning that there's not a finite number of places and opportunities available. Like, we can increase them. We can make them grow. Like, we have the ability to kind of change the current statistics of the world. Like, okay, 20 beautiful people in a room. If there's 30, fantastic, right? Like, more of something is great as well. More of anything is great. Okay, there are 20 great podcasts in the world, and now there are 40 fantastic ones. Like, who's saying that we have this limit? I think we limit ourselves. We put that limit on ourselves when in reality it doesn't exist at all. And I know that we want to feel special. Part of feeling special, I guess, is feeling like you're unique in the way that there are not many of you. So whether you are the most successful in your field, or the cleverest person in the class, or the girl with the best style, whatever it is, right? Part of the reason why you feel special is because there are not many other people like you. And so it's always hard to meet other people like you. And what I mean by people like you is it's just people that challenge where you're at on whatever level area. Sorry, I'm speaking vague, but it's just because I'm trying to apply this to so many different areas. And the truth is, you just need to believe you're special at the end of the day. You don't need to seek that in your reality. You just need to believe that you yourself are special, because it's true. Guys, we're all special. The only thing we have is our uniqueness. That's the only thing we have, is that we're special and we're unique and no one else is like us. And maybe on paper it seems like that sometimes. You're doing the same job as everyone else. You're doing the same grade. But you're special. You're unique because you're you. And so focus on that. All the other stuff comes, but that doesn't matter. Someone might be top of their field and still not feel special because they're in the top 1% for this job, right? But they know that there are 200 other people in that top percentile as well, and they might not feel special. So what I mean is, just don't try to. What I mean is, even though it's hard and it sucks to hear this, if we just try to seek that in our external reality, if we try to ask the world to show us that we're special, we're never going to feel special or unique or good enough. In reality, we need to believe it ourselves in the first place and hold that belief. And then you'll begin to see it in your external reality. Because if I don't believe I'm special, doesn't matter how well my podcast does. Doesn't matter if it's one of the super successful ones. I still won't think I'm special or unique. Because there will be like some whatever number of other top podcasts up there with me. Or if I don't believe I'm beautiful or whatever, because I've struggled a lot with feeling beautiful and with comparison with just comparing myself, my body to other women, right? And I think that's something a lot of us do. Yeah. If I don't think I'm beautiful or that my looks are special, doesn't matter who tells me, or it doesn't matter if I get named as, like, at one point in my life, if I'm posted on a magazine and everyone's like, oh, this beautiful woman, it doesn't matter, because I still won't feel it. And in the same way that if that never happens, I'd be limiting myself my whole life, because I think, oh, if just someday someone said I was super beautiful and someone put me on a magazine or whatever, then maybe I would feel it. Sometimes we aspire for things because we think that they're going to give us happiness or fulfillment, when in reality, we just need to believe those things ourselves. And I'm saying that as someone who used to really not think that they were good enough. You hear this all the time from people in eating disorder recovery, and there's a reason why. And it's that they feel more confident in their body that is heavier than when they were than in a body that was smaller. And that's just because of the mindset shift. And you realize a little bit that it was never about the body, it was about other things. And I'm trying to say a little bit how I got to that mindset, because I feel more confident and more sure of my worth now than ever. When I, in a different body, in this body, than in the body which would have been more praised by society, per se. And that's just because, I don't know, I think by choosing myself and my health and my wellness and my sanity, that was a decision that made me love myself more and respect myself more. And in turn, my confidence just got better and my relationship with myself just improved. I think when we're thinking about our relationship with ourselves, it's hard to just look in the mirror and be like, I love you so much. You're awesome. Because if you don't feel that, saying it is hard. And so I think a way to improve your relationship with yourself is to kind of make decisions for yourself as if you were like a parent to yourself. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, pretend you're a kid kind of, and just like make decisions as if you care the most about this person. Doesn't matter if you don't at the time, or if you're dealing with a lot of self-loathing. Believe me, I've been there. But to kind of make decisions with the intention of helping this person, because I think that can really strengthen the bond you have with yourself. For example, me deciding to feed myself properly was an act of self-love, even though at the time I was like really torn with myself a little bit because I didn't want to gain weight, and so I was really angry with part of myself. But ultimately, it was an act of self-love, and that strengthened in the long term my relationship with myself. And me deciding I was too tired one day and saying I'm not gonna go work out or whatever. This is a stupid one, but and that part of that decision making part of me being like, okay, I can see you're too tired, let's not work out. And just making a decision that's kind, and that's making, a decision that comes from compassion. I think that can really help strengthen your relationship with yourself. And it's really hard to, but if you can't hate yourself into anything. You can't hate yourself into being better, or quote unquote better, but it's just not going to work that way. So I would say start with kindness and compassion and work your way from there, because if you're always telling yourself, oh, I don't look like this, or I'm not this, or I'm not going to be that, I'm not going to achieve that, I mean, you can't hate yourself into becoming something. What you can do is, the only thing you can do, the only right thing to do, is just treat yourself with a lot of kindness and really foster a good connection with yourself in slow, small ways. Okay, again, you don't have to look in the mirror every single day and say, a lot of people say like, positive affirmations works, and I did that for a while, but ultimately what helped me out in the long term really is consistent kindness to myself. Consistent kindness. At times I felt like I was pushing myself back with that kindness, like I was letting myself off the hook, or letting myself gain weight, or all these things. That kind of overcritical part of your brain is like, why are you being so nice to yourself? Why aren't you being harder on yourself? You're not going to get things done. When in reality, guys, would you treat a child this way? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't say, oh, you need to do this, you need to look like this. No, you wouldn't, because that is traumatizing. That is really hard. That's not going to help the child. That's going to hinder them. it might push them to do work, but they're going to be increasingly distressed. Do you get what I'm saying? So, doesn't matter if maybe it helps you out in the short term. Maybe you achieve things, you achieve the goals you want, but in the long term, it's not sustainable to speak to yourself that way and to push yourself that way. And isn't it nice to think that you could have such an easygoing, relaxed, peaceful relationship with yourself? That, okay, there's chaos and confusion in the world, but at least you know that you don't speak to yourself that way. And that when you're at home in your body, you're treated with just kindness and acceptance. And ultimately, that helps with self-worth and comparison. Because if you're sure about yourself, or a little bit more sure about yourself, and that you're making the quote-unquote right decisions for you, things affect you less. I compare myself, that's how I started this episode, but I also want to specify that it's so much better than it was. Even the other night, I was at this party, and there was this beautiful, beautiful girl. And in the past, I would have probably been a bit threatened and been like, wow, she's so pretty. I'm not pretty like her. Next to her, I'm not as pretty, all these things, and felt really bad. But actually, I thought, wow, she's gorgeous, and I was able to enjoy the fact that she's this beautiful woman that I got to see. But I also knew that I was beautiful too, and that I was me and she was her, and we're two different people. And her beauty doesn't affect mine because there's more than enough room in this world for all of us. And she'll have her people that find her beautiful and appreciate her, and I'll also have my people. And I was in the bathroom mirror yesterday, really looking at myself for a second. I didn't feel that cute, albeit it was 11:30 p.m. and I was in my pajamas. But I just looked in the mirror for a second and I thought, that's just my outside is a little part of what makes me beautiful, but what's going to make me beautiful to my person, my future partner, my friends, is who I am on the inside, like your energy as well, because looks are one thing as well. They're one thing. You can be beautiful in so many different ways. Beauty is subjective, but also you can be beautiful because of your energy, because of the things you do, because of your kindness, and people will see that beauty. They do. That's such a wonderful thing, but it's true. Yeah, people will see your beauty. Because when we say you're beautiful, it doesn't just mean your looks, it means your inside, it means your energy, it means your soul, it means all these different things. And I don't want to be just beautiful on my face, I want to be beautiful as a person. And I don't know, I guess the point I'm trying to make is that beauty comes in so many different shapes and forms, not just physically, but also like mentally. And so I thought it represented so much growth when I was able to be next to this super beautiful woman that I maybe would have compared myself a lot to in the past and been like, oh, why don't I look like her? When in reality, I was like, she's beautiful, but so am I. So am I, and I'm next to her. And that came from, guys, just not self-discipline, not me hating myself into being someone, or me hating myself into someone I would like or think was more beautiful. It didn't come from that. I tried that for years and years and years. I tried hating myself into a body that I would accept, when in reality, all I needed to do was be kind to myself. And then it happened. So the answer is actually really simple. You don't need to do all this. You don't need to push yourself even more and all these things and be not nice to yourself. The answer is so simple. Just give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace. Yeah. Even now, when I'm scrolling on Instagram or wherever, or on Spotify, and I see other people, I can see how far I've come, because I think, first of all, given my experiences, I know a lot that everything we see online is not real. And I know I'm not the first to say that, but I just wanted to share a personal anecdote. Like, I was looking through my Instagram from when I was like 16. Like, the pictures aren't up there anymore, but it's on my archive. And the vibe I give off is like this, like, kind of party girl, social, with lots of friends, in like this, like, naturally thin body, when in reality I was heavily bulimic and heavily depressed at the time. And so that's just one example of like how fake it is. But even like, I did a post this summer which I've taken down now, but I showed it to my friend, and it was like this cute compilation of like pictures of me and my friends. And I showed it to someone here at uni, and I said, would you believe that these pictures are all from the month after I was out of an eating disorder unit in a psychiatric ward? And she was like, no. So just, again, wanted to share a little bit about me and my Instagram, because firsthand, you know, I can see that you don't get the full picture or the full story from Instagram. Okay, you get snippets. Anyways, I've noticed a lot of growth in like my ability to go online now or listen to other people's podcasts and not compare myself, because I don't know, I think it's just because I'm so myself now, and I've become really fond of myself. And honestly, I know I can't be anything other than myself and Lydia. And who am I? And like, this is the life I was given, this is the story I was given. Like, I just have to be Lydia. I think that actually is the biggest realization that's helped me, is not who the fuck cares, but also who the fuck does care about all of these other people, in the way that I'm me. Like, whether I like it or not, I'm me. I was born into this body. I was born into this person. I'm Lydia. That's me. And I gotta do this girl justice. I have to see her life through. I have to give it my all. And I don't need to get stressed about what other people are doing, because it's like literally so irrelevant to my story. It's so irrelevant. It's the most irrelevant thing in the entire world. And it's not like butterfly effect here. Like, what someone does not impact me, really. And unless you're in my circle and you're like one of my friends. But what these people that we see online, what they're doing, it actually does not have an impact. And just don't limit yourselves, guys. And don't make yourselves smaller. There's no need. Like, take up as much space as you can. There's enough room in this world for us. Sometimes I get overwhelmed by population. I'm like, how are there this many people in the world? But guys, there's enough room for each of us. There is. And there's enough room for you to achieve whatever you want and be whatever you want. The same way that there's enough room for Stacy down the road to do the same thing. It doesn't matter what she does. Like, just do your thing. There's enough room. Everyone's always stressed, like, oh, there's not enough room, there's not enough space, this is competitive, blah, blah, blah. There's enough space. There is. We'll make space. Yeah. Just focus on you, on being you, and everything else follows. I think that's all I really wanted to say in today's episode. And again, I know I'm not the first person to say focus on you, but I hope I'm one of the last people in your life that says focus on you until you start actually doing that and believing that. Sometimes we need to hear the same thing again and again and again, and like until we're actually able to do that. I heard the phrase like love yourself forever, okay, and it took me years to learn how to do that and to actually be able to do that. And so repetition is also helpful. And so even if I'm just like a repetitive kind of memento, I'll be that for you. I'm happy to be that for you and to tell you again and again and again. And you can come back here when you need reminding. Love yourselves and be you. Okay, thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode of Children of Divorce, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one. I hope you're all looking after yourselves and just be so kind to yourself, okay? Because you guys deserve it, and there's enough room in this world for you, and there's no need to be stressed. Everything's okay. Everything's as it should be. It's all okay. Okay, I love you guys. Bye.